Hey, welcome back. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how to find comps for land. Maybe you're looking to buy a piece of land or maybe you're looking to sell land. I'm going to show you how to figure out what the land is worth and how to find the comps. All right, you might be thinking, what in the world is my land worth? I'm going to show you the steps to take to find the comps and how to become the land comp expert in the next 15 minutes. And stick around until the very end. I'm going to show you the easy button, my easy button on how to find comps for land. All right, let's talk about the giant 800-pound gorilla that everyone's heard about, and that is Zillow.com. Zillow is probably the easiest way to look up comps for land, how to find comps for land at midnight. I'm going to give you some other strategies, but let's talk about Zillow First thing you want to do is pull up Zillow.com and you want to go to your area. Let's say you're in El Paso County, Colorado. Go ahead and type in El Paso County, Colorado, and we're interested in the land values only. We're not worried about houses. We're not worried about single family homes, none of that. And we mostly want to see what the solds are going for, because yes, we can look at what people are asking for, what the for sale stuff is for, but we're only interested in what stuff is selling for, because at the end of the day, what someone is willing to pay for it is what the value actually is of the actual land. All right, so we're looking at sold, so go ahead and click the select solds only. And then next, I want you to go to home type, and I want you to click the button deselect all, and then go back and select lots and land, because we're only interested in land here, right? And then I want you to go to more and click the more button. And you might be in an area with an HOA. So if you got an HOA, you want to click is it in an HOA? If not, then select no HOAs. You don't want to see data for HOAs when you got land that's not in an HOA, and vice versa. If you got land that's in an HOA, you want to see the data for only HOA land, and that could be a huge distinguisher. I say look at both of them, that way you kind of see the examples for both examples, but you want to always remember, compare apples to apples. We want to compare like things. What the heck does apples to apples mean? You want to compare like items. So if you're looking at 5-acre parcels, you only want to compare the 5-acre parcels. If you're looking at stuff in HOAs, you only want to see land in HOAs. And then next, scroll down a little bit more and you want to see sold in the last 6 months. I only like to be about 6 months because a lot can change in 6 months. If you're not seeing any comparables, any examples, then you might have to extend that out to 9 months since we're talking about land. All right, so you want to click done. Now you want to actually go and look at the map and start looking at the comparable properties, like looking at the actual properties that are comparable. And that actually brings me up to a point that I actually forgot. And I talked a little bit about the 5-acre parcels. We want to talk about like items. So let's just say that you're looking at a 1-acre parcel of land. Well, you want to go back to the button that says more and click on there, and you want to show parcel size in acres, 1 to 2 acres. Let's just say, for example, you're looking at 10-acre parcel. That's your actual land that you want to look at comparables to 10 acres. So you want to look at anywhere from 9 to 11 acres because you want to stay within that apples to apples range. So sorry I forgot that. I wanted to bring that point in there. That way you're looking at, comparable properties. Now, let's go to the map. Let's see what things are actually selling for. You want to be within a couple miles radius. So say for instance, you're seeing that the 5-acre parcels are selling for, say, $5,000 for a very round number. Well, you got 5 acres, and if you divide that 5 acres by 5, you're getting $1,000 per acre. So 5,000, that's where the $5,000 is coming from. So that tells me that land in that area is worth $1,000 per acre. So that's how to look at the solds. I now want you to go ahead and check for sale, because we want to see what people are actually asking for. We want to see what the competition is doing, what they're actually asking for the land. Let's just say that you click on it now and that brings out some more examples. You got one person that's asking $6,000 for 5 acres. You got one that's asking $10,000 for 5 acres, and one that's asking $5,000 for 5 acres. That tells you you're pretty close to what you saw with the solds. And generally, this is just a rule of thumb across the country. You'll usually see that people are asking a little bit more than what they're actually getting, because everyone wants a deal. Everyone's going to offer a little bit less than what someone's asking. So if they're asking for 10, they'll hopefully get the $5,000 for the total purchase price. So let's say that you're in one of those areas that Zillow's not working well. There's nothing coming up on Zillow. Well, I want you to go to Redfin and see if they're available in that area. This is another alternative to Zillow. Some people prefer Redfin over Zillow, and some people prefer Zillow over Redfin. I'm personally a Zillow fan, but Redfin might be another alternative to learn what the area is, how to run comps in your area, how to find comps in your area. And at the end of the day, we're not trying to be a land appraiser. We just want to know what the area is going for, what the land's selling for in that area as far as for the acres, the 5-acre parcel you're looking at. All right, before I move on to my next points on how to find comps for land, make sure to comment below on any of the places that you've used to find comps for land. I love to see it, love to reply, and maybe you have a better way or a question. Feel free to drop a comment. I try and answer all these. All right, let's talk about the experts in the business. The people that actually deal in land comps. This is literally their livelihood. It's what pays them, how they put food on their table at night. So let's talk about the professionals in the business, and that are the realtors. Those are the licensed realtors that actually specialize in land. So I'm going to give you a couple ways to find realtors that specialize in land. My preferred method is I like to find a real estate office that's as close to my land or the land I'm buying or selling as possible. So I'll give you one example. One of my first land deals, I was buying this land for $285. It was a crazy deal. It was like the deal of the lifetime. Dolph Del Rue says the deal of the lifetime comes around once a week, as long as you're looking for it. And I truly believe that, because we're always looking for deals of a lifetime. We seem to get one once a week. So I got this piece of land for $285. This is what the seller agreed to sell it to me for, but I had no clue what it was worth. I was just starting in this business. I had no clue how to comp land or how to find the comps for land. So I drove to the land. I looked at it. I sat on it. I overlooked the Pike National Forest. I was like, this place is beautiful, but I had no clue what I could pay for it, what I could even sell it for. So I'm driving down the hill, leaving this land, and it's as if God planned it, a real estate office for me to call. So I call, it's a Saturday, and this sweet realtor answers the phone. And I'm like, hey, I've got a piece of land right down the street. It's on Lake Avenue. I wanted to see what the 30-day blowout price for this land is, because I wasn't interested in holding this land for a year. I didn't want to hear that the realtor's pie in the sky number. I wanted to know what this is what you can get it done for today. This is the get it done price. So the realtor goes, I have no clue about a 30-day blowout price, but I think you could sell it for the next 45 days for about $10,000. I was like, whoa, okay. That sounds like a deal to me. So I thanked her for her time and I hung up with her. So I'm getting this land for $285. I can sell it for $10,000. No brainer. I'm going to do this deal. Well, she calls me right back. She calls me back and says, hey, Brent, what if I bought the land from you? So I was like, what are you offering? She said, I'll offer you $5,000. I was like, great. When do you want to buy it? When do you want to close? She said, I could close on Wednesday. And I was like, all right, it's now Saturday. You're talking about 4 days from now? She goes, yes. I was like, great. We have a deal. Send me the contract. So this is all by me trying to figure out how to find the comps for land. And that was from a real estate agent. And this real estate agent was very familiar with this area. Obviously, she dealt in land, and I just got very, very lucky. Just to kind of end the story, I called the seller back. I said, I'll buy the land on Tuesday. I show up on Wednesday with the warranty deed. They record it, and I got my $5,000 check. I wrote a $285 check on Tuesday and got a $5,000 check on Wednesday, and I had no clue how to comp the land, but I called a realtor. How do you find real estate agents that deal in land? You call the real estate office as close to the land as possible and ask about the land you're interested in, or ask, hey, who in your office deals in land? Well, we don't have anybody in this office that deals in land. Great. Could you refer me to somebody else? And hopefully they will refer you to someone else. But I want to give you one more pro tip on how to find a realtor, a real estate professional, licensed real estate agent that deals in land. And that is by going to landwatch.com, landwatch.com, and you can pick your area. Let's just say we're going to keep using that El Paso County, Colorado example I gave you with Zillow. You pick your area and you scroll down until you see land specialist. That's a licensed agent. Call that person. Tell them the area you're in. Say, hey, I'm looking at 5 acres in El Paso County, Colorado. Here's the address. I'm wondering what the 30-day blowout price is. If you were to list it for me, what could you sell this thing for in 30 days? I want the get it done number. I don't want the pie in the sky 1 year from now number. But that's how you find comps for land, and that is my absolute best strategy. And that's talking with realtors that deal in land already. So I just mentioned landwatch.com. This is another personal favorite of mine because landwatch.com is actually going to be a website with land listings in your area. You can search by the county and the actual specific city. I love micro. I try and get as micro as possible. I try and narrow down as close as possible because, once again, I talked about apples to apples. Not only is it the same acreage, but you also want to be in the same area, the same geography within a couple miles. I say once you get about 5 miles away from it, you're probably getting too far out. You're stretching the limits a little too far. But LandWatch breaks this down beautifully. You can search exactly 1 to 2 acres or 3 to 5 acres. You can search undeveloped land in the specific area, but I love LandWatch for this. This is another go-to. So if you're using Zillow and Redfin and a Realtor and a LandWatch, you could pretty much be the comp expert, the land comp expert in your area within 15 minutes. If you're spending more than 15 or 20 minutes comp in a new area, you're probably spending too much time, because in land, we're dealing in averages, and hopefully that you're offering, maybe less than 50 cents on the dollar for this land. So you're dealing in averages, but you're also offering so little that it makes up. There's room for, error. If you maybe pay too much, there's always room for error. So hope that helps with finding the comps for land and how to do it and how to be the expert in the next 15 minutes. All right, so as promised, I'm gonna give you my easy button now. You might be that person that doesn't wanna pick up the phone and talk to realtors. You hate Zillow. You don't wanna go to LandWatch. Let me tell you about my easy button. My team now uses a program called Priced. This program actually shows us the value of the land that we're looking at, the actual area, the city, the values of the land from 1 to 2 acres, 3 to 5 acres, what the value of a buildable lot is, what the value of a 10-acre parcel of land. I love this program so much because they give us the comps that they actually use to figure out the value. They aggregate all this data and they do it all for me, and it takes me like minutes. I can be in a new county and already understand what the value of land is in like literally 5 minutes. So the link is below in the description. It's called price.com/thelandsharks. You will get a 7-day free trial, and your first 400 records are free to redeem. So you can literally be figuring out what land is worth, an exact amount that you offer on the land, and you can be mailing land by tonight. And I mentioned what to offer. They give it to you in 5 cents on the dollar, 10 cents on the dollar, 20, all the way up to 95 cents on the dollar what you actually offer for this land, and they give it to you in an Excel spreadsheet. This is my team's easy button. We love this. It's actually showing us the comps. They're super accurate, and we're not having to call a realtor and go to Zillow and go to LandWatch. It's all in one spot for us. So that's why I call it my easy button. The link's below in the description, and it's called price.com/thelandsharks.